Welcome Inside the Lines. I am Greg Sussman. This is Frank Stanfield. Tonight, the rivalry renews as the Knicks and Nets face off in Brooklyn. The Nets are 8.5-point favorites in this game. Total sits at 224.5, according to the FanDuel Sportsbook. Knicks and Nets have played twice already this year. The Knicks have covered both times, Frankie.
Yes, they have. And the key to covering tonight for the New York Knicks will be limiting Spencer Dinwiddie. Easier said than done. No Kyrie Irving, no problem. The Nets have gone 12-6 straight up and ATS since Kyrie Irving has gone down with injury. During that time, the last 18 games, Spencer Dinwiddie is averaging 26 points and 7.2 assists per game. If you're looking at the total tonight, New York Knicks have gone over in 4 of their last 5, while the Brooklyn Nets have gone over in their last 2.
Last time these two teams played, they went under the number, combining for just 204 points. Let's move on to Dallas, where the Mavs are taking on the San Antonio Spurs. And, of course, the big news out of Dallas is Luka Doncic is making his long-awaited return for the Mavericks.
Luka Doncic is back for the Dallas Mavericks, a long-awaited return for the potential MVP in the NBA. I'm looking at the total in this game, Greg. Both of these teams are great offensively, both top 8 scoring offenses this year. They are a combined 36, 21, and 1 to the over are these two teams. And when Luka went out, it was a good opportunity to get Kristaps Porzingis going, Greg, because during that stretch, the past 5 games, KP is averaging 22.4 points per game, 13.8 rebounds, and 2.6 blocks. Once again, I'm taking the over 226.5 points.
Yeah, Luka being back is obviously going to help the Mavericks offensively. The Spurs, in fact, well, they're the worst team in the NBA against the spread. They're just 9-19-1. But LaMarcus Aldridge is coming off his best game of the season, and I think this number's too high at 8. I like the Spurs tonight, +8 in this one. Let's move on to OKC, and the Grizzlies played a good game last week. According to the FanDuel Sportsbook, the Thunder at home are 6.5-point favorites. The total sits at 224.
And I want to lay the points here with the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're playing well this year. They are 18-11 against the spread so far this year, covering 62% of the time. They are 10-6 ATS at home this year, so they play well there. And I'm looking at Dennis Schroeder as a player to help the Oklahoma City Thunder in the month of December. He's averaging 22.5 points per game on over 50% shooting, Greg.
In that great game last week, the Thunder came back from 24 points down and came back all the way back to win. They combined for 248 points. We'll see if they do that again tonight. I like the over. Let's take a break. When we come back, Kings and T-Wolves, Jazz and Blazers are Dalla as well. More Inside the Lines right after this.
They say less is more, but we believe more is more. That's why we build FanDuel Sportsbook with more ways to bet, more ways to fund your account, more ways to cash in, and more ways to cash out, with payouts delivered straight to your bank account in as little as 48 hours. You want more? You got it. Join today and get a risk-free bet worth up to $500. FanDuel Sportsbook. More ways to win.
Back Inside the Lines, Greg Sussman and Frank Stanfield. In Sacramento tonight, the Kings are hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves. Kings are a 5-point favorite at home, but it all rests on the shoulders of whether Karl Anthony Towns is playing tonight. He's still questionable as of right now. The total sits at 221.5.
It's because of that injury that I'm staying away from the side in this game, Greg, but I will look at the total going over 221.5 here. Both of these teams are not great defensively. They play at a higher pace with De'Aaron Fox and Marvin Bagley back. I am taking the over 221.5.
With Cat so questionable, I will also stay away from a side here. I like the over as well. Let's go to Utah, where the Jazz are taking on the Blazers. Jazz are a 5.5-point favorite in this one. Total sits at 220. It's a good game. Two very well-matched teams. But I like Utah at home tonight. I think they're in a good spot.
I'm going to go with the over this game as well, over 220 points. With Mike Conley out, the Utah's offensive rating goes up from 105.9 to 111. They just acquired Jordan Clarkson as well. I think he can add some scoring off the bench. I'm going over the point total of 220.
Utah has the best 3-point percentage in the NBA. That's why I like them tonight. Let's move on to our Dalla, a long shot bet that is worth taking a shot on. For me, I go to the Memphis Grizzlies, where Ja Morant only needs 5 rebounds and the Grizzlies to win, and you get that at +870. The Grizzlies should have beat the Thunder last week. They will do it tonight. I'm going to the Portland Trailblazers, CJ McCollum to score 25-plus points, and the Blazers win. You are getting that at +660.